you say. Welly, GA, and Matt are here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Come and have your say.
It's true to say that I'm not a big fan of the BSF. In fact, I don't really go there very often now, but from time to time I like to dip in and see if it's changed. I did that yesterday, and truth to say, it's not changed a bit. And as is per normal, it made my blood boil. The thing that got me boiling more than any other was some of the comments that I was reading about Lawrence Rogers. Now, this guy has worked so hard to say Birmingham Speedway, it's fair to say that Birmingham would not exist without him. Now, don't get me wrong, I am absolutely not happy with the current form and the current level that our team is performing, and I accept, and we need to see changes. But the level of vitriol that I saw aimed at Lawrence Rogers, well, it's just stupid, to be honest. So anyway, Lawrence is on the show tonight, and is here to answer your questions, and it's just going to be interesting, isn't it, to see if any of the critiques are actually here to ask it in person. I have my doubts, to be honest, but we shall see. Only in Speedway.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Right, we've got a new face in the studio.
Have we?
Well, it's an old face, but it's new to the...
Very old.
Everybody, welcome Pete Clark. How you doing, Pete? Oh, what was that?
I was just seeing my beep was working.
Okay, so your beep was working.
I'm getting my head ahead of myself for later.
Every time he mentions my name,
Yeah.
Should have been this one.
Pete works down at, you work at Wolverhampton as well now, don't you?
I'm helping out when they're shorter bodies, sort of holiday season, this kind of thing.
But he mostly works down at Birmingham, and he's the guy that's out there every Tuesday putting the tyres and the sheets down with whatever help turns up. Yeah, good guy, but not having to do that this week.
No, it's a week off.
So, yeah, well, a week off, so I dragged you here instead.
Yes.
We've also got Matt way down south in Plymouth. Hello, Matt, how you doing?
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, he's down in Plymouth for some reason, not to watch the Speedway. It makes no sense.
No, there's no match at Plymouth tonight, so I picked the wrong week, didn't I?
Some might say you picked the right week, but So, did you get to watch any of the Speedway at Wolverhampton on Monday? Did you see any of it?
I've only seen the heats 13 and 15 that somebody's put on Facebook, and two absolutely brilliant rides, brilliant races. But a superb win for us, really. That was, we didn't have we had a terrible record against Ipswich last season, and they, an all-powerful spearhead of Doyle and Cy Fudenoff with Danny King as well as a Monmouth Green track specialist.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like it was going to be another really tough meeting on paper, but in the end, running out comfortable winners. And home form continuing to be very, very good.
I listened to it on Radio WM, and it seemed to be a sort of nip and tuck sort of match. Each heat was quite competitive.
Certainly seems that way, yeah. It was always going to be, probably always going to be the biggest challenge. People might say last week against Sheffield, although Sheffield were under strength. Mm-hmm. That was always going to be a tough challenge, but Ipswich, really, with their top end strength, were always going to be, a tough nut to crack. Jason Doyle barely drops a point around Monmouth Green, but Sam Masters beating him in the first race really set the tone for the evening, I think. Yeah,
I think that's right. Talking of Leicester, they Sheffield as she was, they went down to Leicester on Monday as well, and they didn't do too good.
No, they suddenly look a bit weak, don't they, Sheffield?
A bit fragile, I think, is a good word.
Yeah. I've seen quite a bit of criticism of that meeting as well, and particularly the coverage on Eurosport. But without really seeing it for myself, I don't really want to comment too much on that. So,
no, well, I shall get a chance to check it out, I'm sure, because they put repeats on after repeats after repeats on Eurosport as I'm finding out. You was there. I'm just going to. So Pete, first time Pete's been on the show, he's a little bit nervous. So I'm just going to keep asking you questions and make you join him. But
you go on. Just make it a bit worse for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds great.
So you was there on Monday. Good meeting.
It was. Emil, whose name surname I can never pronounce, Emil rode a line which nobody else rides.
Mm.
He didn't use the inside line once.
Right.
He was using the skirt around the hair fence in every one of his heats. Once he got the knack of it, after he 4, I think he was out in one. And after that, he was flying.
Yeah.
He just went wide. Everybody was trying to go up the inside. He was actually going quicker than people.
Right.
Normally coming out of the bends 2 and 4 at Wolverhampton, you get that cut back. They weren't cutting back on him. He was still pulling away from them.
Okay. Interesting.
Just sheer horsepower.
the outside line does seem to have been rediscovered at Monmouth in the last 2 or 3 meetings. A lot of people have criticised Monmouth Green as being, well, you can only pass on the inside, but we're seeing quite a bit of outside passing this year as well, which is really good to see.
It's the thing in Speedway that I've always said makes it unique to other sports and so exciting that you don't. It's like the mecca of motorsports, isn't it? The outside pass.
Yes, it always is.
And it always takes your breath away. Talking of which, we saw quite a outside-inside pass at Birmingham last Wednesday, which although we didn't perform very well, wow.
Yes.
That was worth the admission, wasn't it? It was I'm coming through, and if I don't come through, everybody's in the fence.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, it could have been Skittles.
Yeah. So so that was Mozza, whose name I forgot again.
Nick Morris.
Nick Morris, thank you. I'm not doing well today. We will obviously come on to the Birmingham match in a little while. We're going to be getting Lawrence on, and I'm sure there'll be lots of questions for Lawrence. So let's see what we've got on the shout box, shall we?
Okay, so quite a few people on this evening. We've got Jeff, Lawrence, John Bird, Dave Twine, Andrew Garner, Rich Thomas. Some of the comments, Lawrence replied with, I give blood to the Brummies.
Pete, I give blood to the Brummies, Clark. Because he had a bit of an injury. He has played on it a little bit, to be fair.
On highlights on Quest tonight at midnight.
I won't be watching
Leicester
that.
versus Sheffield match. All last night was an exciting meeting, one of the best seen in ages. Heat 13 was fab, great crowd too. As I messaged Lawrence last season, yes, I have been critical in team selection decisions, but I've been equally as quick to praise him when he has made good decisions. And never would I say anything personal like some of the horrible comments I've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is sport, and criticism is part and parcel of it. And if Lawrence makes a bad decision, and he does sometimes, that coffee he made me last week was awful. But yeah, I mean, some of the things
we get a bad one every week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're lucky we get one sometimes.
I'll nip over to YouTube quickly.
Oh, YouTube! This is way round of applause for YouTube.
Sorry, I know. Dave Edwards says last night the meeting was really good at Wolves. Really good. Said it twice. Even the visitors turned up and gave us a good meeting.
Yeah, it sounded like a good one, and it's poised, I think, for the bonus point. Could go either way at the moment.
And I think John Bird reiterates that great meeting at Monmouth Green last night. Yeah.
It says, great ride from Doyle in Heat 15 to slow the race down to get Ipswich a 5-1.
Yes, he did. He got in front and just stopped.
Yeah.
One to a better word, he just stopped.
Yeah.
Done it many times over the years, but fabulous rider.
Yeah.
Really.
Yes, absolutely.
So do we read anything into the rumours on BSF that Laguta signings for Kings Lynn and Tarasenko. I hope I've said this right. I'm going to be in trouble.
Tarasenko and Tungate.
Signing for Peterborough. Make of it what you will.
Who knows? Tungate's a good.
I think there are rumours that Peterborough are about to sign a new number one as a replacement for Nicky P. We wait to see who that is, of course. But much needed win for them last night as well. First win in almost a year.
We've got a question for Lawrence already, which we will put to him, and I'm sure that he will answer that. And you know, I do like the guy. We work with him.
Yes.
Won't stop me from asking difficult questions. Like, why did you put that milk in this coffee? You know, all
He wants you to make your own coffee.
Yeah.
What are people's thoughts on Eurosport's coverage from Leicester? I thought overall the whole package had been improved except the camera work, poor angles, and we were regularly told by Kelv we were missing the action off the screen.
I can't comment because I didn't see it, but I know. Yeah, I mean, I will check it out actually.
The general consensus really seems to be that the coverage on BSN is better now than it is on
BSF
on Eurosport. I suppose the big difference with BSN is that they don't sort of, cause that much aggro with the meeting, because they don't have to go for ad breaks and things like that, and they don't have to move schedules. They don't have to move a whole meeting to a club's off night just to suit their schedule. They just turn up and film what's there. So,
John Bird says, and we was talking a little bit about this earlier, and we should touch on it. What do you think to the latest issue about Monmore Green Stadium, that one reason is greyhound dogs are getting injured from shale? We've heard a report on a report, which says that, according to this report, that just that on the tracks where there's speedway, there is a higher percentage of dogs getting injured. We haven't seen the report that's been reported, so you can't really comment on anything. I will say it's a very well-known fact within science that correlation is not causation. Just because something is there are other things that could be measured as well that could easily play a part in it, and we have no way of knowing whether any of those things are being measured, like sizes of tracks, shapes of tracks, time of day, whatever it can be. Bad weather, good weather. We've no idea whether all of those things have been quantified as well. So it's impossible to say.
I'd certainly be very concerned if I was any club running alongside dogs at that course. I mean, Monmore Green and dogs and Speedway have been, coexisting at Monmore Green for, well over 70 years. So, and it's suddenly become a problem. And I suppose the cynical side of me is that, dog racing promoters showing some concern for the welfare of greyhounds. For a lot of people that are quite cynical would think, well, why now?
Yes.
It's the perfect excuse.
It seems that way, doesn't it? I don't, I mean, to be fair to Chris Van Stratton, he's been very sort of, reserved in his comments about Entain and Ladbrokes. He hasn't gone on, into the press and criticised them and, said they're a disgrace for kicking us out. Ultimately, I suppose at the end of the day, he's got to be wary of the fact that if a new track is going to be found and there's some more concrete news about possibly getting it, he may need to go to Entain and ask just for one more year while we're going to get ready. But that's obviously still quite some way down the road at the moment, and hopefully in the next few months we might hear more about this new site that the club are looking at. Yeah.
Well, that would give everybody a boost.
The sport needs a boost right now.
Oh, don't it just
desperately,
don't it just. Have we got Lawrence on the line yet? Because
I'll give it two minutes. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Jim Tyrrell, Evening All, watching on YouTube. Not going to mention the Flyer Masters got in Heat 13, but have sent a voucher to the ref for Specsavers.
Yeah, I've read that.
Did look a little bit of a rollers from what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I did when it was commentated on the on Radio WM. He went, "Oh, Masters seemed to have got a bit of a start there. I wonder if he's going to call it." Oh, he hasn't called it back. It was literally like that. So
I didn't hear any Wolves fans complaining last night.
Well, you won't, will you?
Well, obviously not now.
Andrew Garner, big shout out to Barry Bishop, friend of the show, and everyone involved in the first Nora meeting at Iwade ran very well. Need people Go on.
Actually, just before we go on, I did post this earlier, but I think we should pause to say happy 90th birthday to the legend that is OV Funding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
What a rider.
Believe now the oldest living world champion, but one of the sport's all-time greats. So we wish OV all the best on his big day.
Happy birthday, Ove. Yeah. Oh, that's a name that conjures up
I think Lawrence
memories.
is online.
Defeat, mainly.
I beg your pardon?
I think Lawrence is online. Is he there, Lawrence?
Are you there, Lawrence?
I'm here. I'm there.
Fantastic. How are you doing?
Enjoying a night off, not being at Perry Bar.
Well, yeah, and Pete's enjoying not having your coffee, so it's a win-win. Really.
I said, make your own, you said.
Yeah. So, I mean, we should get straight down to talking about last week's match. Not what anybody wanted.
Not at all, no. And you'll see the statement that the consortium and management put out the following day that actually the whole place was not a good place to be. Crowd weren't happy, the riders weren't happy, and the management weren't happy. It just went completely wrong for us. After heat 10 was still in with a chance, and when Nick had his chain break and Alfie his HT lead snap, but we were on 5-1 at the time. That made it 30-30. We were still in with a shout, but we fell apart in the last 3 races anyway. Yeah.
I mean, can you put your finger on why?
Well, difficult, isn't it? Some weren't performing. We had Royce coming back from injury. We were freezing RR for Stefan. Joe had that crash in his second ride. Seemed to lose his confidence a bit after his first one. Mm-hmm. And Sergi started well and didn't end well.
Yeah. So are you putting it down to a bad night at the office, or do you think there might be some changes in the offing?
Yes, there will be an announcement on a team change up and coming.
Sorry, say that again. Sorry, I got lost.
There will be news of a team change up and coming. Possibly tomorrow it will be announced.
Or we could.
We are making a change.
Or you could make the announcement now. I mean,
World exclusive, Lawrence.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not just officially on the BFTL.
Okay. No, fair enough.
We can't.
Fair enough.
We'll watch this space tomorrow. That's all I can say.
Will do. On better news, the track, to my eye anyway, and obviously I've never ridden a speedway bike before, but to my eye, the track seems to get better and better every week. There seemed to be a lot more dirt on it last week.
Yeah, and John spent hours and hours and hours on it on Sunday. More clay down, more dirt down, water all through. He was on the big green track before it went back to our sponsors today, unfortunately. But John's done a tremendous job, and everyone is praising the track who comes to ride on it.
Good. I mean, obviously, given what the history of the track over the past few years, that's really, really important.
Yeah, well, 2 years ago, the track was not good at all, was it?
No, not particularly. Yeah,
lots of bumps, holes, and everything else there. But all credit to John for what he's done, and Terry the track also coming in when we need him to help as well. Of course, Terry's not been he had a stroke recently, so we wish Terry all the best.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Should say that. So I don't know whether you heard my piece at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we have got a few questions, and I'm just going to shove them straight at you because I know that you're quite good at. You'll just answer with a straight bat. And the first one that we got is from Harry Tromans, who said, quite simply, why did you build the team in the way that you did?
Well, Nigel and I built it in a way we wanted a number one, which we were lacking last year. Mm-hmm. Nick Morris became available on a very high average. He's taking over 25% of the team average. And it was a case of fitting them around that. Sedgy, had done a great job the year before. and had to come back in. It was a case then of who fitted. Alfie Botel became available. James Wright had some cracking meetings last year when he came to guest. I think his lowest score was at 9 last year around Perry Bar. James Pearson coming back was a no-brainer. He learned a lot last year, and that's showing this year. He's been riding very, very well. Stefan, of course, out with an injury since July. Now we're building at it, but fortunately out injured again there with broken foot.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we built it that way. It was fitting it within the 40-point limit, because the limit came down from 42 to 40, which, we were preferred 42. But we had to build a team around. As I said, with 10.13 going on Nick, it left us having to juggle the figures, and those figures worked with what we brought in, and with a team that all, except for Nick, to improve on 10.3 would be amazing. All the rest of them can improve their average, and if you look at Alfie at the moment, he is more than improved his average.
Yeah,
once Wright is back in 6, he's worth. He's more than a 5.5 point rider.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think, truth to say, I think Alfie Botel's form this year and his performances have been the biggest plus.
Yeah, I think really, Lawrence, that's probably one of the big pluses so far this season. There already seems to be a really good understanding between Nick Morris and Alfie Botel. I mean, think back to that opening night, I mean, that brilliant piece of team riding that Nick Morris did to get them both around for a 5-1.
Yeah, it was old-fashioned team riding. That was. That was like it was.
That was like watching Sudden Sam. That was.
Absolutely, they have got a good understanding. You can see them looking for each other all the time, and that's important. So it's proven to be a very strong opening partnership for us, which is what we need to start a meeting with.
Mm-hmm. A couple of more questions coming in. Simon Corbett says, Lawrence, have you talked to Dylan Rummel yet?
I talked to Dylan a lot of times for the winter and everything else. He's one of my USA people. With my team USA hat off. Dylan is sat in California at the moment.
And Anthony Bailey says, Dan Thompson in for Stefan by any chance? I know you're not going to answer that, but I have to put the question out there.
Who knows? They'll find out in the next 24 hours.
Absolutely, I shall be watching the website with more than normal alacrity. What does alacrity mean?
Alacrity.
It's a word you've made up there.
To get them, haven't you? So.
Yeah, I think I might have made that.
It says about no milk.
It's coffee with milk when you don't need milk. Yeah.
Barry Bishop's on. Evening all, Barry.
Yeah, we'll talk
Barry. Well, congratulations for him for their first Nora meeting. It was a great success at Kent last weekend, so well done, Barry.
Yeah, did look good. Did good. I saw bits of that, yeah. Excellent.
Fantastic. Well, as we guessed, the questions have dried up. Nobody wants to say any of the things that they were saying on the BSF.
You mean our keyboard warriors, some of which have got the same thing, the 2 or 3 different names, don't seem to appear. It's just a pity they can't, come into the pits and have a chat to me, because I am quite human. I can talk things through. Some of the stuff they write is quite amazing. I actually laugh at it, to be honest.
Good. I think you need to. Yeah. Something has come to light today. I didn't know anything about this, but Pete was telling me that there's talk of what's it called, Premiership Greyhounds. Is that what it was? And they apparently they're talking that they're going to be running on Wednesday next year.
Nobody knows exactly. We have a meeting with the Greyhound people at the end of June. So until then, who knows?
Okay, I just thought to throw it out because it's one of the things that's come to me, So talking about the team this year, and so obviously you said that it was very important that we got a number one.
We're working in sign language.
Okay, right. Lawrence?
Okay.
Are you there? So talking about the team, you said obviously it was very important that we got a proper number one, which we definitely have got now. I think the other plus points for the team, we've spoken about Alfie Botel, but I'm really, really pleased about young... his name's gone out of my head again.
Mick Morris.
No, he's not young. Not young Mick
James
Morris.
Pearson.
James Pearson. That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
You must be happy with how he's been performing this year.
Absolutely. You know, as I said, he learned a lot last year. He's putting that into practice. You know, actually, I spend a lot of time with him. I drive him everywhere, including the Bellevue meetings. Round Bellevue, he's phenomenal as well. That's been good. He really has, you know, worked hard at it. The points are coming, which is important. And some of his passing now has been amazing. But there was one race at Plymouth last week where he dived on the inside of everybody, which was, you know, tremendous to watch.
Yes, nice to see that. So that confidence to do that.
I think he's really benefiting from racing in the National League as well, because he's getting a lot more track time against, you know, with all due respect to the riders of the National League riders that he's more than capable of beating. So
very much so, yeah, because we're at Oxford tomorrow, and we've got Bellevue Friday against Mildenhall, including a certain Mr. Alfie Botel and Aaron Butcher. So we'll see two of our people there on Friday against us at Bellevue. But yeah, it is doing him good. He's had two paid maximums now. We had a rough meet at Edinburgh where it was pouring with rain, and we had bike trouble with chains that night. But, you know, the confidence element is there for him. He's also performing well for his Polish team, Lesno, on the under-24 league.
Right.
You know, he's not scoring great amounts. He's getting 5, 6, 7, 8. And in that league, that's pretty good. It's quite a competitive league.
Mm-hmm.
Got a couple more questions coming up. I like this one. Simon Corbett says, he's invented his own word there, by the way. Does it infuriate, I think it means infuriate, Lawrence, that Sedgman is riding better for Leicester in the higher league?
It is strange because, you know, away from home, Redcar got 14, at Plymouth he got 13 and 1. At home, he just doesn't have one. He hasn't had one very good meeting yet, so that's the term. But he is riding great for Leicester. His win last night in the race they brought Jack Holder in as a Saturday substitute was amazing. He was out the gate and gone.
Yeah.
So, you know, we know Sedge you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, is part of that the fact that there is quite a high track advantage at Leicester?
I think so. It showed last night that, you know, Leicester did beat Sheffield quite easily, really, and there was some good races, admittedly, but there was some, you know, the home boys certainly knew where to go.
Mm-hmm. Which brings us to Anthony Bailey's comment. It says, I'm guessing he's talking about Birmingham here. It seems almost like our track is now so good and fair that we don't seem to have any home track advantage this season. Hence, our away performances have been better overall.
Can the track be too good?
Do they want some potholes put back in it?
Pete says he'll put some potholes back in if you ask.
Yeah, well, you know, we've aimed to have, you know, one of the best tracks in the league, and, you know, we are working on what the boys want and how they want it now over the last couple of meetings. So that will develop, and, you know, it will be set up how they want it. But, you know, we don't want potholes in it again, please.
No.
I found a hole last year. They had to look into it.
That's bad. That's really
sorry.
Yeah. Well, we might not have to invite him again. I don't know. Jeff Daniel says Pearson is superb at Bellevue, unbeaten in 2 meetings, winning races easily by a distance, hoping for the same on Friday against Mildenhall.
So do I. You know, it'll be interesting with him against Alfie.
Yes.
That's going to be a race I'll look forward to, but I'll be closing my eyes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say that, yeah.
Of course. I mean, coming back to Alfie, the thing that he looks very, very secure on that bike, if that's the right word. Whereas before he might have looked slightly on the edge.
Yeah. He had a couple of first couple of meetings where he won. We had tape problems with him at a couple of meetings. And he had heat one itis, so I call it. But he and I had a good long talk. We've got a joke between the pair of us, which works, put it that way.
Yeah.
And he comes back in with a big smile on his face, which is important.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, with the way the averages changed, there is a possibility that you might not be able to run him at number 2.
We will see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean that's good for his point of view.
It is. But I think once Wrighty's had a meeting or two, he'll be scoring well, so that'll make the difference up of being able to leave James at 3. Because while it's not from injury, it is tempting to put him at 2, but then I don't want to break up the Alfie and Nick partnership, which is so good for us.
Absolutely, and you can see the trust that they have in each other as well.
Oh, very much so.
Which is important. Talking about possible changes, when do the new green sheet averages come out?
No idea.
Right, fair enough.
In all honesty, a few of us were under the impression the BSN fixtures counted in the average. They don't seem to be at the moment, so it may well. It's only after probably maybe 4 league matches or 6 league matches even.
Right.
And again, because it's a system which is not simple to follow. Sometimes the average that they're on this year is not the average they've got on the green sheet. So you've got the rolling average.
Yes, it's I mean, I don't understand it.
If you don't know, Lawrence, what chance has anybody else got?
I look at it and I go, right, okay. How many points did he score 10 meetings ago? Oh, I don't know.
No, no idea. Not enough.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, when it comes through from the office, I can look at, that's their average now, is it? Okay.
Now, the reason I asked is I wondered whether it was going to be happening soon, because obviously Nick Morris's average will go down, and that might give us more wriggle room. But trying to think, trying to think like a team manager and failing dismally. So there you go.
Well, on our website, there is a stats page which is kept up to date, and you can see the current averages of the riders, home, away, and overall. And also, there's a rolling average one on there, but I'm not sure if that rolling average one is the correct one.
Right. Okay.
They've all got different. They've all got different figures
Right.
on there. And I go, right, okay.
Strange. Only in Speedway, as we say.
Only in Speedway.
Yeah.
Why are they called green sheet averages?
They used to be printed on green paper.
There you go.
What colour are they now?
They're not. They now come out online to us. When they were sent out in the post, they were sent out on green paper, and that's why they were called green sheets. There you are. That's a bit of history for you.
Must have been cheaper.
They probably got a job lot somewhere. Someone else wanted green.
Well, it doesn't all have Richie Big Boy Racing written in the corner. All right.
Well, he's just my hero piece on here.
I know.
He's not going to be our new signing tomorrow, is he?
Oh dear.
The body core ain't big enough.
Oh dear. So, okay. Well, I mean, all the questions have dried up as I thought they would do. But
That's disappointing. I thought some of my friends might have been on.
Yeah.
Friends?
Well,
Friends like that, you don't need enemies.
there's nothing on YouTube, is there? Just have a quick check.
And don't forget, I don't get there till 6:30 on a Wednesday, and I go home at 10 o'clock. That big bag of money, don't forget that.
Or you have to help them out with the cash some weeks.
Yeah, that's terrible. It's terrible. We actually buried it in the middle of the centre.
Yeah, and that wasn't me. That wasn't me at the chat this morning. No, it wasn't me then. It wasn't me there Sunday. It wasn't me there last Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. No, it wasn't me.
Or me.
Yes. I mean, yeah.
I thought people were still there. What are you doing there?
It's been known to be still there at this time of night on Tuesdays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pete's one of the heroes at Birmingham Speedway. I'm going to make him really embarrassed now, but he is.
Oh no! Don't do that again. We got in trouble last time.
Okay, so let's. Next Wednesday we've got the under-19 meeting.
No, we haven't.
Wednesday after. When is it?
No. Next Wednesday we've got the British Youth Championship for the youngsters, the 125s, 150s, 250s, and 500s.
Okay, that's what I meant. That's what I thought I meant. That's what I thought I meant. I said. What are we?
The 19th to the 28th. Get that one right.
Of course. Right. Okay. What are we like? What can we expect to be seeing next Wednesday?
Some really entertaining kids. I saw the leg of this at Bellevue the other week, and there were some tremendous little kids going, and we had some of the lads last night in the second half of Wolverhampton's on the 125 250. William Cairns was there on his 250, and he'd be a joy to watch. I'll have to pull this tomorrow, but I think Luke Harrison should be in that list there. Max James should be in there. Ashton Bowen should be in there. I'm trying to think of the other 500, but there's some really good kids in those there. They're the future of British Speedway, and it'd be great, if the fans put it. We're doing £10 entry and the 16 free, and it'll be 8-page program. There'll probably a normal one for £1 next week. But a nice cheap night out and see some of the future of British Speedway. I know Pete Carter loves his future of British Speedway because he did his 1 to 7 in the program last week that had some of those names in, like Luke and Max, etc.
Max Perry, one or two others, yes.
So it's a reduced admission as well, and quite a few heats, I believe.
Yeah, there'll be 22 heats in total.
So, a lot
there, yeah. William Cairns is certainly one that's getting a lot of coverage at the moment, and a lot of people are sitting up and taking notice of him. I mean, I watched the Macing over in America back in February, and he was really, really impressive in that one.
Yeah, Greg was working with. He's actually in Sweden from today. He's got two meetings in Sweden between now and next Wednesday. He's been in Czech Republic, Poland, Croatia. He's gone all over just riding his bike, which is brilliant for the kid. He's got a lot of ability.
So people are going to be searching for his signature as he comes to that.
Absolutely.
He's a talent.
Yeah.
But what he can do on a 250 is amazing. Yeah. When he gets on a 500, watch him go.
Okay.
Talking with his dad about it last night, what he can and can't do next year. So we're already working on, what races he can do and what tracks he can ride at.
And I was watching.
He's had a good teacher as well, hasn't he, in the form of Mr. Hancock? So.
Yes. I've done a lot of work with him.
I was watching on YouTube, I think it was this morning actually, there was a meeting in Scunthorpe of all the juniors, 125s, 250s and so on. And one of the riders decided he was riding an e-bike. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he came out on this e-bike, which was basically a 125 powered thing, but he was able to ride it like it just rode better than the other 125s. It looked as if it rode more naturally, like a 500cc would normally react, but obviously with a slower speed. And he was whizzing past everybody.
Well, they have 3 bikes at that meeting at Scunthorpe, and two of the girls rode them as well. The one was very fast on it from all accounts.
So I was wondering whether you thought there was a future for Speedway in e-bikes.
I suppose on planning permission it helps a lot, but it is quite funny because Pete at the SGA is flagging. I got to the SGA meetings, and James Wright's dad's got an e-bike, and it went past us, and I suddenly realised that there's someone out on the track. You can't hear anything.
Right.
That's a big problem.
Don't you think it might become like a separate sport, like you have, motor racing, e-motor, car racing,
like that.
Like
well,
yeah.
you say that,
Formula E, isn't it?
Formula E. But I think Formula One and Formula E at some point will become amalgamated.
Yeah.
I think it's got.
They'll possibly stop all kind of petrol-fueled engines in motorsports.
I suppose it's got to happen. I suppose one day. Yeah.
It's interesting. I think it will have add a whole new dynamic, because if you've got 4 e-bikes, as you say, there's no sound. You're going to hear the riders talking to each other and shouting to it.
You will also not need to have a loose surface to ride on either. With an e-bike, you can ride on tarmac. Do exactly the same things they do a speedway bike.
Really?
They'll spin like heck.
Well, there's a lot of talk on those things, isn't there? Yeah.
I'd rather not fall off on time.
Well, there is that. Sorry, it's just something that came up this morning when I was watching. I thought that was interesting. So I thought, since nobody else is asking any questions, I would take it somewhere else. Lawrence, I'm going to say bye to you then, because there's no more questions coming up, and we've got to do our league. Are you going to take part in it this week? That's a yes.
Oh. Did I tell going somewhere?
I mean, you're safe, I think, because I don't think there's any Birmingham matches between now and so.
Not till next Friday at Glasgow.
Yeah, so I think you're safe on that one. So you should give it a go. But anyway, Lawrence, once again, thanks so much for coming on the show. I'm looking forward to seeing what you're announcing tomorrow. Am I going to be happy?
I would hope so.
Okay.
Well, we're happy.
Okay, there you go then. I just want to know who it is. You can text me later. I'm saying that to everybody, and he won't. I promise you now, he won't. So don't anybody come after me asking me what because he won't.
You know me well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Too well. Never replies.
Yeah, never replies. Okay, well, thanks again, Lawrence. You take care, and I'll see you next week.
Cheers, Lawrence.
See you.
Okay, thanks, Lawrence.
Take care.
Cheers, Andy.
Bye bye.
Bye.
And he's gone.
I told you these people wouldn't come on, didn't I?
Well, that's, yeah.
They hide behind the pseudonym, whatever they call
Have you invented a word now?
Pseudonym?
Yeah,
Pseudonym.
pseudonyms. That's what they're called.
That sounds actually better.
Yeah, they
pseudonym.
I like that.
They have a fake name. They come up. They put any old rubbish they want on there, and then they just sit back and
Yeah.
don't care who they hurt doing it.
What's your fake name on BSF?
It's my own name. I haven't got a fake name.
Oh, okay.
If I can't be taken for what I'm saying, I won't say it.
Right. Oh, there's some stuff.
Yeah, that's Brian's written a book.
Read John Bird's comments about the reason that wolves are being kicked out of Monmore. This dog's being injured by Sharp's shale seems to be just an excuse dreamed up by the stadium owners. In a recent letter to MP Pat McFadden, it bears no resemblance to the original reason given by a different employee, but the concern must be that this excuse can be picked up and used again by other Greyhound Stadia owners. To my knowledge, there has never been any complaints from greyhound owners that their animals are being injured. There's more. There's more. There's more.
And sorry, I wasn't looking.
Yeah. Oh, there isn't more.
There's
there you
no
go.
more, no.
Okay.
Big
Jeff,
build up as well. So
yeah. Jeff Daniels says, I see the BSPA have started a prediction scoring for Premier League matches only with prizes.
Pinched another
It
one of our
started
ideas
yesterday.
that pinched, so.
You should have copyrighted it.
Wow. Take that.
Something else the BSPA have nicked.
Yes. But they don't do it as good. They don't give away a cup
And a mug.
and a mug. Yeah. So there you go.
We get a mug and a t-shirt.
It's a car.
And
And a car, yeah.
and I tell them now, don't them dare call it the James. Sorry, the Nigel Pearson. My names have gone.
Tell you what.
And the Nigel,
Alzheimer's is setting tonight, doesn't it?
Nigel, I know.
Everything wrong.
God, where do I live?
Who said that, Brian?
You wrote my name down as well.
There you go. So, have you got the things ready for us, Matt? And
Matt has, because I forgot to put the end tables up, and I haven't really got time now. So
okay, so Matt? Can you give us a synopsis of where we are in the tables?
well, I think we're all in the bottom
We are,
20,
yeah.
I think.
yeah,
Okay.
Or below 20th, I should say.
Yeah.
So, as far as I'm aware, I haven't got it in front of me. I think John Bird's still leading by a couple of points from Andrew Garner.
hold on a second, I'll get I
Ben
think,
Clifton, I think, third.
yeah, Simon's. I think Simon's doing quite well, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, he's beginning to climb a little. I think he might have dropped a place this week, but he's certainly in a better position than he was.
Yeah.
And am I still holding everybody else up in this studio?
No, not. Yeah, you're still the lowest of the three. Yeah, so the lowest of the low, I should say.
There is no truth in the rumour that the reason I've asked Pete to come on tonight is so that he has to take part in this and thereby puts him underneath me. No truth in that rumour whatsoever.
I've got the top 10 here. So John Bird, Andrew Garner, Ben Clifton, Duncan Pemberton, Daniel Lynn, Gordon Gambrell, Rich Thomas, Brian Buxer, number 8, Steve Morgan, then Simon Corbett's zoomed up to 10th spot. He was in the relegation zone.
And me and Chris just can't seem to get separated.
No. I don't like the way he said that.
I'm beginning to fall away as well now, I think. So
Yeah, that was. We knew that would happen anyway. So there you go.
Simon Corbett says it needs to. Oh, it's
I'm
gone.
sorry, no.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered with that anymore. I'm going back. I've got to get back to where I was.
Okay.
So I'll lose it.
There you go. Okay, we'll never know what Simon said. Right, so shall we go through this as quick as pos then?
Yeah.
In a little while, we're going to be getting Lawrence on, and I'm sure. And now I'm hearing myself.
Oh,
Aren't
are
we?
you?
Okay, yes.
Oh, I know.
We'll get lots of questions for.
There we go.
Not
there
pleasant
we go.
thought, is it, sir?
No, I did not like that at all. Right, so have you got the fixtures there then, Matt?
I haven't, sorry. No.
No? Okay, have you got the fixtures, Chris?
I've got to do everything.
You got to do
I've already got
everything.
I've already got
I'm
one
like-
screen down here.
You know what? I'm like
so-
a sex slave without the sex. Right.
Doesn't leave you a lot.
Okay, we he's looking for it's BSPL, but not to worry.
Right, okay.
Yes, can we hurry up, please? This sea's getting a little bit rough.
Go as fast as I can. Go as fast as I can. Here we go. There we
Right,
go.
so where are we? We're on
So-
Wednesday.
Which is
So we need to start with, So tomorrow we've got Pool Pirates for the Scunthorpe Scorpions. And Chris, it's you to go first.
would be, wouldn't it? So I'll go Pool by 8.
Okay, I'm going to say Pool by 10. Matt?
Pull by 16.
And come on, Pete.
I would suggest that Paul probably will win by 16.
Okay. Hope somebody's writing all these down.
No, I'll just
Okay.
I'll do it. I'll drive it and watch the show back afterwards.
We've got Oxford Chargers versus the Bellevue Colts. That's up to me.
Yeah.
That'll be an interesting match, that will. But I'm going to say Bellevue by 6. That's you, Matt.
Bellevue by 10.
Pete.
Bellevue by 8.
Bellevue by 12.
Okay, next up is Sheffield versus Kings Lynn. Of course, we don't know whether there's any truth in them making these signings. But
Won't be in time for tomorrow. So.
no. Okay, go for it. That's up to you, Matt.
Me?
Yep.
Sheffield by 24.
I'm going to say Sheffield by 28. That's Pete.
Sheffield by 18.
I'll go Sheffield by 14.
Okay, and then we've got Ipswich versus Leicester. And that's up to you, Pete.
Ipswich by 8.
Okay.
Ipswich by 10.
I'm going to say Ipswich by 12.
I'll go Ipswich by 10 as well, I think.
Edinburgh Monarchs versus the Scunthorpe Scorpions.
Ooh.
That's up to you, Chris.
I'll go Edinburgh by 12.
That's interesting, isn't it? I'm going to do my thing. It's a draw. Go on, Matt.
Scunthorpe by 4.
Edinburgh by 10.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knows really where Edinburgh are, do they?
Well, it's
Well,
not
they're in
far from-
Scotland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite
I
close to
knew
Glasgow,
it. I
but-
knew
Far
it.
away from where I am, I know that.
Yeah. The Bellevue Colts versus Mildenhall.
That'll be a good match.
Yeah, I think it will. And that's up to me. I'm going to say Bellevue by 6. Matt.
Draw.
Draw. Wow.
Millwall doing well this season.
Well, they are, yeah. Pete.
Bellevue by 4.
I'll go Bellevue by 2.
Okay. Red Car, went up to Friday, May the 26th, by the way. Red Car, I'm not as good at this as Matt, am I?
No.
Red Car versus Glasgow. And this is down to Matt.
It's a tricky one, that is, isn't it? Red Car by 6, I'll go for.
Pete?
Glasgow by 8.
Chris?
Red Car by 4.
I'm going to say Red Car by 2. Sorry, Glasgow by 2. Okay. I've lost it now. Where was we?
there we
Yep.
go.
Okay, thank you. The Leicester Lion Cubs versus Kent Royals.
Is that up to me?
That's actually Pete.
Peterborough.
Leicester by 22.
Leicester by 12.
I'm going to say Leicester by 24.
Leicester by 20.
Nobody giving Kent much hope there. The British Under-21 semi-final at Workington, which will be an interesting one to possibly go and see. Monday, May the 29th, Bellevue versus Wolverhampton. Oof.
I'll be at that one, so...
This is the one where you need to win by 26, isn't it?
No, we've already done that one. So.
Oh, you've done that one? Okay, phew.
This is the league match now, so...
Okay. And this is up to Chris?
Yeah, I'll go Bellevue by 10.
I'm going to say Bellevue by 12. Matt?
I'm going to say Bellevue by 12 as well.
Interesting.
Faith.
Bellevue by 10.
Bellevue by 10.
Yeah, no faith at all.
Interesting. Peterborough versus Leicester. Got their first win the other day against Kings Lynn, didn't they?
Well, they have a new number one by then as well. So
Yeah.
Or a really good guest.
Yeah. Well, this is up to me, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Leicester by 6.
Peterborough
Matt's go,
How do
sorry.
you know that,
Yeah.
Matt?
Leicester by 4.
Yep.
Peterborough by 2.
And Chris?
I'll go Leicester by 6.
Interesting. That's where the difference of opinion is this week. Wolverhampton versus Bellevue. Of course,
evening.
yeah. Of course, it's a bank holiday, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and that's down to you, Matt.
I'll go Wolves by 10.
Pete.
So Bellevue get the bonus.
Wolves by 12.
Chris.
Wolves by 10.
I think Wolves by 10 as well. Okay. On the Tuesday, Glasgow Tigers versus Redcar Bears. And that's up to you, Pete.
Glasgow by 14.
Glasgow by 12.
Glasgow by 4.
Glasgow by 8.
Okay. And the last meeting, Oxford Cheetahs versus the Poole Pirates. That could be an interesting one. And that's up to you, Chris.
I'll go Poole by 4.
I'm going to say Poole by 6. Matt?
Oxford by 4. I'll go.
Pete?
Oxford by 2.
Okay. There we go. That's the Nigel Pearson
Well done.
Prediction League
Well done.
for this week. There you go. There you go. We should have copyrighted that. Should have copied that right.
Plus, we have got a Grand Prix coming up this week as well, by the way, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
Saturday in Prague.
It's going to be interesting to see. It feels very much to me that Bartok Smarslik is feeling a little bit under pressure.
Well, he hasn't been as dominant as he has been in the first 2 Grand Prix. I mean, there's a lot being spoken about the what happened in Warsaw. But in fairness to him, even though he's been not quite at his best, he's still been able to dig those results out. Obviously, he's not got a clear lead at the top at the moment. He's level 1 points with Freddie Lindgren. But I think this might be. It's a track that's very, very different to the Warsaw track. It's not generally. It's a very popular place for people to go, but it's not generally a great racetrack.
No.
Prague, from my experience of watching meetings there. But on the conventional track, we'll wait and see what the conditions are like. But Jason Doyle, I think, has been superb in the first 2 Grand Prix and hasn't really had the rewards that he deserved. I think he had that first final one in Croatia because he made a brilliant start and then just lost it going into the first bend. I think if he'd have held it down, I think he would have cleared off into the distance. So I don't think a Grand Prix win is too far away for Jason at the moment. And it wouldn't surprise me if he came in Prague on Saturday.
You could say all what you just said about Jason. You could also say about Jack Holder.
Yeah, I mean he's going to be really smart, isn't he? Because he was the big loser in Warsaw, wasn't he? Because he had that Grand Prix won. He was about 10 block lengths in front, probably more so than that. But he's going to win a Grand Prix sooner or later because he's really developed into a top class rider. Maybe it'll come in in Prague. We don't know, but I don't think it's too far away. But I would probably hazard a guess and go for Doyley to win on Saturday.
Okay, I'm going to ask Pete what he thinks.
I think the weight of expectation weighs very heavy on speedway riders sometimes, especially to the Polish riders.
Yes,
and if they start to be affected by it, they'll start losing.
I mean that's the fact that there hasn't been that many Polish world champions. Given that,
we've only had 3, so
that weight of expectation is massive from Poland.
Yeah, it took Thomas Goller 20 years to win it. So,
I mean, I was at Cardiff one year when they all got knocked out in the semi-final. All the Polish supporters got up, walked out.
Yeah, and the stadium was empty.
Well, they only walked out as far as the bar, I think. So.
Possibly the block I was in, there was 3 of us left watching the final.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's. I'm. Your prediction? Who are you going to say is going to win? Really putting you on the spot today.
Just a bit. Doyle probably, because I think he's looking aggressive at the moment.
And he's not going to be very happy about what happened. Chris, who watches no speedway whatsoever, we ask him every week.
Look, I've got 2 minutes left. Fact or fiction?
Okay, fact or fiction. I'm going to go for Ty Woffington. I don't know why. Go on.
I'll go for Ty as well.
Okay.
Fact or fiction? 1927, the first 2 meetings, the Speedway riders went clockwise. True or false?
Okay. Well, I'm going to say false.
I'm going to say false as well.
So am I.
Anybody else having a go?
Well, you've got to tell us because it's...
Okay, it is in fact bloody true.
Is it really?
It is, yeah.
Really?
Because my understanding was Speedway didn't start till 1929.
It was in Australia before 1928, though, wasn't it?
1927.
1923 it started in Australia. That's why it's all Speedway 100
first
things.
2 meetings, and it began with C. I'm sorry, I've lost the information. But
It was a horse trotting track, wasn't it, or something?
It might have been.
And they went the same way as the horses went round it.
Yeah.
Well,
There you go. 1927.
would have been very different. I wonder if... Well, that's a question for another time.
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay, well, Pete, thank you very much for your first show. You did really average.
Oh, I'm quite pleased with that.
Did better than the other guy who usually sits there anyway.
Yeah, this is true.
It's hopeless.
Well, you turned up for a starter. So,
Wasn't a tin of spam sitting at the end of the top of lard.
I have broken my holiday to join you, by the way. Remember, so.
Sorry, was he expecting some sympathy for that? He's on holiday.
He's come to the wrong
I've
place.
actually rode out into the middle of Plymouth Sand, if you can see it.
That was your back garden.
Is that not a green screen?
Oh, you're giving it away now.
Where technicalities.
Technicalities.
Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for turning up. Thank you for your lots of questions to Lawrence. You know who I'm talking about. We will see you next week. Have a good one, everybody. Enjoy your speedway.
Good night.
Good night.
Welcome to the Speedway Tavern.